सच्चा अमर गोविंद दा सच्चा अमर गोविंद दा सुन गुरु प्यारे सुन गुरु प्यारे.
Inhale deeply. Exhale. Inhale to chant. Satguram Jugatguram Satguram Sri Gurudev Satguram Jugatguram Satguram Sri Gurudev Satguram Jugatguram Satguram Sri Gurudev. Inhale.
Okay, so thanks for the organization of this event. Today we are going to share the foundation for consciously raising children and how to deal with the challenges of screen time for children, which is huge these days. We all know that all parents are dealing with, and some parents are not dealing with. And we are going to speak about this.
So first of all, we are going to briefly introduce ourselves. I am Bachan Kaur. I live in Chile, in the city of Valdivia. And we are married for 14 years with Rising, and we have 2 children. Gurudev Singh, it's 13 years old, and a little girl, Kaur, that it is 8 years old. So
yeah, first we are going to start with an introduction about what is conscious parenting. It's a lot being said these days, like this was not popular 10 years ago, like you were crazy if you were speaking something like that. But today is like a very used term, and many people are using it in different traditions. So there are different beliefs, but of course we have our own that was shared by Yogi Bachan and the gurus, and that's why we are going to share here. Yeah, it is for caregivers too. Miriam is asking if it is too.
yes, that's a very good question.
I mean, if you have contact with some kid, then this is for you.
Yes, totally.
Okay, so do you want to give the introduction?
Yes. Well, the main thing is to understand that when we are talking about conscious child raising, we are talking about the sacred job of being a parent or taking care of children. And that's the most important job that you will do in your life. It doesn't matter if you are like the CEO of a very big business, but if you put your energy, your effort, and your consciousness to give these children like a very nurturing and a very deep connection with their soul, that's the job that will transcend you after everything, and it is what is building the future. So the the nucleus of the child raising, it is that we need to understand that you are taking care of a soul. Now, in these days, the child raising movement, it mainly touches the realm of the emotion, how you can deal with the emotions and the emotional being of the kids. And yes, we have like many information about how to take care of the body of the children, but for us, the very different way in which we do the nurturing and the taking care of the children, it is the essence that we are taking care of a soul. And the main job that we have, it is that this little baby that we have in our arms, that it is the recipient of the soul, we need to give them the path, nurture the way, so they can continuously be connected with their soul, with their infinite being. And it is not an easy task, of course, but what we need to understand it is that we need to first of all nurture our souls. We need to take care of ourselves, and we have a lot of techniques. If you do Kundalini yoga, if you are walking the path of Sikh Dharma, you are continuously awaken that consciousness of your own soul and your presence. I love this concept. If your presence doesn't work, nothing will. And it is so truth, because if you are not in connection and in alignment with all your being, all the bodies and your aura and your arc line, if you are not doing a conscious work in all that layers of yourself, your presence will not work at all. You are going to say something to the children, but that the word will not impact them because your presence will not. So that's the first step. You need to have a very committed and disciplined habit to work in your own self. And we have a lot of techniques that can do that. We need to take care of our food, how I am nurturing myself, my bodily self. How do I relate to my emotions? If you have if you are in our generation, we do not have the blessing of understanding and learn how to deal with our emotions when we were kids. So you need to be aware of that, and you need to be aware of how you are reacting, what emotions are like the most common in you. You are a person that it is in the realm of a sadness or anger. So you need to understand that realm of yourself, and you need to take care of this connection with your soul. You want to share something about that?
Yeah, I want to say, like, we are living in a time that it is pretty difficult, very difficult, like to raise kids. It's like that's the baseline. Like, it's difficult, just period. And about that, we want to add a little spicy ingredients to the mix, and we want to add that we want to raise child, but we want to do consciously. So more spices to that mix, and it make it more difficult. So you are going a step forward towards that. So first of all, we need to understand that, like, it's just difficult. Like the environment is not helping us to raise child. It's doing the opposite because like many things today in our society are being driven by money. So we have these things which we are going to speak about, and the companies behind them, they are going for the profit. They are not taking care of the society part. So, for example, just a little example, like these companies like spend like big budgets on development of the new products and the algorithms and all this stuff for gaining profit, but they make it so difficult for you like to do parental control, like on the mobile phone. It's almost doesn't work. Like any application that you can buy or try to control the things on their phone, it doesn't work. Like the kids find a way around and they get access. So I want to say, like, as a base to start with, we are living in an area that is really difficult to raise child because the society is not supporting us to doing this job, and all is too money driven, and because of this, and because we want to not just raise kids, just we want to do consciously, and beyond that, not just consciously, we want to give the legacy of this path, then it's double difficult, like, for us. So that's I think it's really good to understand that where you are putting yourself in. So that's why we say, like, it's really important that you have this consciousness when you are going to have or planning to have kids, because this is what you are going to deal with. I mean, and you have to be aware of it. So many people, what does is that they don't plan for this. Like they know that they want to have kids, but they don't have this in their conscious mind, like this is what I'm going to have to take care of it.
I love what you just said. And the first disclaimer of this this sharing of it is that I always said this, it is, we are not perfect parents, we are not the perfect family. Okay, so we are like common people, and we have the blessing to live and experience this path. So that's a very important thing, that we have challenges, big challenges, little challenges, and the very thing that keep us in alignment, it is these teachings, these singing mantras, doing the meditation, nurturing very consciously, eating pizza, do celebrations, and try to inject this nectar, this very blissful state of living with the teachings of the gurus and the teachings of Kundalini Yoga. And in that way, I wanted to share the first thing. Well, we are starting with when the baby comes. Okay, of course we were pregnant, we're expecting this beautiful being, and then the first thing that you can do, you can share it if you are not pregnant already, or you are not thinking of having children, but you can share this beautiful thing to do when the baby came into the world. The first thing that you do, it is the father sings the Mul mantra in the left ear of the baby. And why this is so beautiful? Because you are ¿cómo se dice imprimir? Imprinting? Yes?
Imprint, yeah.
Yes. The base of this path, this sound current that relates the soul with the infinite, with the divinity, like the first sound that they hear. So I don't want to miss that to tell you this. So, and this will be a tool for all the experience in the child rising. You are going to use the Mul mantra constantly. And it is amazing that when the child is in distress, they are crying a lot. If you chant the Mul mantra in a very soft way and you hug them, they will start to soothe themselves with this sound current.
So the thing is, like, we do many things in a very specific way, and these things has, and this class is not for telling the techniques about what we do. For that, we have like trainings on that, like every technique. But those specific things has a time in the timeline of growing of this child. And if you don't do it in the proper time, then you lose the opportunity to do it. And that's very important, because today we are dealing, as Bachan was saying, like with a neurotic approach to kids that is about just emotion. Like, and it's important because in the past, we have not taken care of emotion. So deal with it. It was like, you will normally receive as an answer, deal with your emotions, like, or suck it up, like to say it in a word, in an ugly phrase. And the thing is, like, that's just one part, because we are yogis and we understand that emotions are more than just the most important thing. For some people, it is truly, it's that, like, the most important thing, like how you feel. But we understand that the feelings are going and coming and going, and it's not the main thing for us. The emotion, yes, we understand, is like the expression of something that is coming to you right now. But we also understand that it's more than that, right? It's the things that lie beyond the emotion that are the important for the yogis and the yoginis. So the thing is, like, and there is where our focus is, because when we are having like an issue with our kids, or we are raising them, and yes, the first thing that you are going to see is the emotion. Like, for example, just to give an example, my daughter, the grandfather gives like $10 to her, and he said to her, like, this is for you to buy a book, right? The mother doesn't know, so she's going to laugh right now. Okay, so yesterday we were alone and we were speaking, and she started telling me that
you were alone with our daughter?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she was telling me, like, in a space of confidence, she was telling me, like, she spent all the money in candies and like,
Rush, really? Oh my God.
She didn't know. So she spent all the money on stuff that was not supposed to. So she alone started to cry, because she was saying, like, I will need to say to the grandparent, and he is going to scream to me, because the parent is not a yogi, and the grandparent, sorry.
The grandfather.
The grandfather. Yeah. so he was really scared about the reaction of the
She.
she was really scared about the reaction of him. And I was, and you know, like that was the emotion. Like I'm crying because I'm terrified of what my grandfather is going to say to me, and maybe he's going to scream to me, like, which is not right, but that's what she thinks. And I was like, yeah, like that's the emotion, but I'm not nurturing that emotion. I'm not giving like a more power to that emotion. Instead, what we do is that we focus on what is the really important in the lesson in this, and the thing that we want to teach to them. So, and here is one of the things that is so difficult for people right now and for societies, is that we are just focusing on emotions, and that's not the case. Like the case is what's going beyond that, and what is going beyond that is that she does something that was not correct, and now she has a karma that she needs to pay, and she needs to confront that reaction, and she needs to go through it, instead of just, because I'm sure that many parents, what they will do is that they will say, like, we are not going to tell them, don't worry, stop crying, because the immediate necessity for the parents these days is calm the emotions. So it's more important calming the emotions instead of going through the lesson of the thing that she is living. And that's a huge mistake. Like, then you are teaching nothing. You are teaching your kids to live on emotion.
And the other thing is that we need to understand that the journey of parenting is a journey of phases. So you are going to have many phases. So what I always tell people is that you need to be flexible and you need to be relaxed. And with yoga and with the teachings and through breathing techniques, we can achieve that. But if this is something what I am going to say. When your nervous system is collapsed, you cannot live your values. So we need to take care of ourselves, because we need to be very neutral, and we need to be aware of the big picture when we need to confront the daily challenge of what it is to being a parent or to take care of children. So if Rising doesn't do don't do his meditation or the yoga or connect himself with the infinity in the many ways, and if he is not conscious about his eating habits, he will not have the capacity to deal with the daughter that it is like, oh my God, the world is collapsing, my grandfather is going to scream to me. So, but in the other side, the natural law in this universe, it is the law of karma. And every sequence have a consequence. And this is a teaching that the children need to learn, like when they are very little, like since you have the opportunity and they have the development of like thinking and realizing things, you need to constantly show them that the law of karma is the law of nature, and every sequence will have a consequence.
So right now what is happening is that in the example, for example, that I just give, you are transforming like that little thing, like that little karma, let's say, into a bigger thing, because you are not transforming that into dharma, or you are not taking the consequence. So what you do is that you put it under the carpet. That's basically what you do. Like, so I could just give the mobile phone to her and see, like, nah, like, go and see a movie, and you are going to be happy, because parents, what they are doing is that they are attending emotions, not the soul, and they put the things under the carpet, and it's going to be one time that the carpet is going to be so big that it's going to explode in your face. and then it's the accumulation of just all those karmas of you as parent taking, like, you are thinking like you are taking care of that karma by doing that, but that's not the truth. But the only thing that you are doing is that you are saving those and making it bigger, because then the kid becomes like uncontrollable. Like, if you are not giving the tools to her or him to go through the things by their own, and you are trying to cover things that it doesn't belong to you, it belongs to them, and there is the right opportunity for them to go through those stuff, and you are taking care of the emotion, and you are doing a disastrous job with that.
And it is not well, it is an art that you need to develop in yourself, how to deal with challenge. And still, at this time, with 14 years as parents, we are still having challenge, and we need to continue to master ourselves and to understand what is happening in the like, not in the superficial realm, but in the very, like, nucleus realm, to deal with things. Because I love this about the teachings, but the teachings said it is good that children experience, and you may encourage them to live challenge, to, like, I like a challenge. Okay, I cannot do this, but I will try to do it. Because that's the spirit that we need to infuse in the children, because life is going to be challenging. Every day will have challenge. And if we teach them that when we have a challenge, we take this and, like, get how you say in English, you get dumb by doing the screen thing, you are not teaching them. Okay, you have a challenge and you need to be aware and face that challenge. And that is what you need to give the example for the kids. For when our daughter was very little, she was doing something and she said, it is too difficult, I cannot do it. And in many things, it will be so simple as you telling them, you can say, I am capable of doing this. Do it as an affirmation. Do it, say it out loud. I am capable of doing this. I am capable, I am capable. And now it is like magic to her, like many years after that when she cannot do something, she repeats to herself, I am capable, I am capable, and then she can do it. So what I am trying to say is that this is a daily thing. It is the daily tasks, the daily challenges, that the way in you as the caregiver or the parent or the mother, the father or the grandfather or the grandmother, you are putting the stones in which you are going to solve them, and which skills and herramientas, ¿cómo se dice?
Tools.
And tools that you give them. That is what they are really, it is penetrating their being. Because if you, I am a master on this. Let me tell you, and my dear husband told me, and other people told me that I do the preaching thing. It is that correct? To preach? And it doesn't work at all. What really works, it is, for years, I am trying to not do that. It is a very difficult thing because my name is Bachan Kaur, the princess, that the true word. So,
But you are not the princess of the true
speech.
of the true speech.
So,
Guru TED Talk.
Guru TED Talk. So, it is how you manage your own challenge, how you manage the challenge in your family. That is going to be the example that you are putting in. And in that realm, it is beautiful when you can understand that you are making a mistake with them, and you said to them, okay, what happened, it was my mistake. Like, I am sorry, because now I will be able to understand that attitude that I have, it is wrong, and I will try to change that in myself. I am a true believer that when you can have that honest communication with your children, that it makes the base so they can understand that you are a human being too, and that you do not relate to them that you are like kind of a god, because that's another thing. The relationship, it is between souls, and you cannot be the tyrant, and the kid cannot be the tyrant either. Are you aware of someone who allow their children to be the tyrants? I remember many examples, and it is not a good thing, because we are not letting the kids to be frustrated. And when we, of course, we are parents and we want to give them the best in life, because that is the nature of mother and father, to protect the children and to keep them safe, all that things. But that doesn't mean that we will not allow them to be frustrated, because it is important to deal with that state in the mind, and we can teach them techniques that will allow them to overcome that frustration, and the awareness that they can try again, and they can excel in life. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I think like we have covered a lot of the conscious parenting, so I think like we need to jump into the other part. But before that, I want to ask if the assistants here on the live transmission has any questions about what we have speak. And as while you do that you can type it on the chat. I want to say that the kids that are raised in this way, they are going to have a tremendous advantage on their lives. You need to really understand this, because they are going to be so important for the future in whatever they do, because they have this different approach in the way they was raised. You just think about it, like kids today are not being taught how to deal with frustration. So and multiply, ¿cómo se dice? Multiply like that for millions, because that's the reality. I mean, like, just look at the example of China. Like, they have like I love China, and they have this or they used to have this policy of the one kid, right? And so what happened is that they prefer to have a male, right? They don't want to have female, so they want to have male. So when they have male, they totally spoil the kid, like, but big time. And right now you see like many of these kids are totally spoiled, like in a big time. And so that's not a good future. Like you can see, if you go to China and you see how they take care of kids, you see that how they spoil it. And that's going to be like zero like patience or techniques to deal with frustration. They will have like nothing. And it's like we are creating like to ourselves, to our society, we are creating a problem to the future by doing this. So here is our daughter, and she wants to sit here, and she of course cannot do it. And so, okay, let's move. So there is, ¿por qué no la vas a ver? Okay, she's feeling like kind of sick.
Yes.
Yesterday she was sleeping. She commonly, what she does is that she uncovers herself in the bed, and now she doesn't feel good. Okay, so we are going to move on because there are not questions about we have to speak, and we are going to move to the second topic. I want to read it. So how to deal with the challenges of screen time for children? I'm sure like Bachan wants to say something about that. Miriam say no question. Thanks to you, Miriam. So how to deal with the challenges of screen time for children? So this is more of the same that I have been saying, like we are dealing with emotions. So I was a kid that I was raised by TV and of course family and all. But like majority of the time, I will be spending hours in front of TV, and the reason for that is because my mom was working, and was no one that can take care of me, and I have no children like in the neighbor, and I was just by my own. My sister was in with a big difference in age, so we know. Normally we don't connect like on the daily basis, just sometimes. So what happened is that it's not a solution because they don't think about that, but it's a very good way to keep kids like wasting like their time and to keep it entertained. So I will spend hours on that. So today we have the mobile phone, but this is another level of the same thing. And before explaining like what does to your brain, because I have very good information, and I'm going to recommend to you a very scientific approach to this, and I believe like this is something that everyone should see. Everyone that has access to a screen should see this video, because it's like it's going to transform the way that you think about approaching many things. But before that, I want to give the word to Bachan if you want to say something about this new
topic.
Yeah.
Well, the main thing it is that we were talking about nurturing the soul, and that is the nucleus of the being that it is sent to you by God. And in another level, there is the mind. Okay, so yes, we are taking care of the emotional thing, etc., and that's part of the mind. But we need to understand that how are we nurturing the mind of the child? So yes, it is very important that they start meditating as soon as possible, when they are very like little, 2-3 years old. We have a video on that. It is in Spanish, but how important is to teach children how to meditate, and that that it is I'm sorry, a daily matter, as brushing their teeth or doing the shower. It is like the base of the skills and the tools that you can bring them, so they can understand how to control their minds. And the other thing that I believe is like people is not very aware now with kids, it is that whatever the kids are looking, and whatever book, screens, that is nurturing their minds. So in that realm, what are we allowing them to look? It is very different if the kid, okay, they can see 1-2 movies in the week, but the kid is 4 years old and you are allowing them to see the Harry Potter movies. That is not a content that it is suitable for the mind of a 4-year-old kid. So in the like making the connection with the screen thing, prior to that, we need to understand that whatever we show to them, it will be food for their minds, and it will make certain neural connections. It will put images in their subconsciousness. So when I hear that someone is having problems because their children are very afraid, uncontrollable, afraid, I am thinking to myself what this kid was allowed to see and to be in touch with.
Yeah, for an example, like this is like basic mathematics. Like it's 1 + 1. Like when I was a kid, like again, I didn't have like a restriction on TV, and my parents let me see like almost any kind of movie with them, which was very immature from them. But at the same time, it's like similar to what's happening today with the mobile phones, because in the past, like people doesn't really know and understand how the subconscious mind was working or works. And today, so it doesn't have a relationship and a study. Like things that human beings has been done for millions of years is like things that we take for granted as a lesson. And we don't do it, and we do things that we do because we learn from the past. But you need to understand that TV and mobile phones are just recent. It's like you don't have the capacity to understand what is going on because it's just one thing that it was created now. So so many people have tested. So we don't know the repercussions that we are going to have with the Wi-Fi, with the 3, 5, 4G connection to internet. We don't know because it's just recent. So we have not been tested. We are the rat labs right now from all this technology. And the thing, so the example was like what Bachan was saying, like 1 + 1 is equal 2. Like for me, it was like one time I see like the It movie of this killer clown when I was really little. Like my parents allowed me to see that with them, and so guess what happened? Like so this.
You really like clowns now.
So hopefully you have not seen it, but like what this clown did is that he looks through the holes on the where you wash your hands, and it looks to you. So what it does to me is that I could not enter to toilets alone, like for many years. And imagine what does to the kid. So I could not hold it and go to the bathroom because I was always afraid that he was hiding behind the toilet, and that creates like a lot of problems to me for many years when I was a kid, and that it's just one movie, like just one movie, it just one movie, and then I see another things that create another things on my mind. So you need to understand that these things like totally give access to those things and horrible things that you don't want to put in the mind of your child, and that movie is just like nothing, like the tip of the iceberg.
And it is, of course, the main thing that we have. It is this and the screens, but in the realm of nurturing the mind, we need to be aware of which books we are give to them. We are a very like book family in here because we don't allow them to be much in screen time. But the thing is that now in the editorial world, it is not so innocent for little children. One time in the school of our son, I believe he was 8 years old or something, or 9, and they need to read a book of a family that were very disgusting. Like the book, it was about
being dirty.
Don't
give details.
Yes, I will not. But it was when I understand and for him it was very laughable, but and very disgusting at the same time. But for me it was like, how the school make them read this book? It doesn't make any sense. So the drawings in the books, that's another thing. You must understand that the imagination, thank you, and the awareness and the likeness of art, it will be given in these first steps in the books that have drawings. If the drawing is like a circle with an eye, like a very childlike drawing, yes, the child will understand the drawing, but it will be a very different experience than if you have a book with a like very good detailed drawing, and you are going to give the mind a different experience.
Okay, so I want to like to start closing like this and to give you like a more scientific like approach to this, because what we are doing here is like how to deal with the challenge of the screen time for children. So first of all, like if you are a parent and you are in control of this, like many parents think that they don't, but in reality, like you are the one that you are giving the phone, tablet, or whatever. So you are the responsible for that. Okay, so if you are having problems with the timing screen, it is your responsibility because you allow them to have a device. That's the first and more elemental thing. So why I say this, because many parents ¿cómo se dice quejar? Complain about, oh, my kid is spending all the time on the TV or on the computer or in the mobile phone. Like, duh, who gives the mobile phone? Who gives the tablet? Who gives the computer? Like, you did. So, okay, so the next answer for that is like, well, but you are not going to give a phone? Well, I'm not giving a phone like like, you know what they can see in a phone? Like, so no, I'm not going to give a phone. So there are things like of course there are ages and it needs to treat different stages. Like of course my son is going to have a phone sometime, but sometimes
when he's 40. No.
But the thing is like the thing is, okay, so the most power push that we have right now is the society, because society tells you like how he's not going to have a phone. Like everyone has a phone. Like he's the only kid who doesn't have a phone. So you fall into that trap because he's going to tell you that like thousands of times. And our son he tried for years and he understands that we are not going to change about that. And he is not even trying now. But yeah, sometimes it is require a phone, but you can try to control that. But that's not the point. But the thing is like you need to understand that you are responsible of giving this, so then don't complain if they are spending all the time. And that's why I was saying at the beginning, like these companies make very difficult to control the parental control. It's like almost impossible because they find a way. Like, and this has been something that I have been speaking with a lot of friends that has this problem, and they always say the same. Like the kids find a way around the parental control, and they finally they get to what they want. So, but that's not the issue. Like the things like to understand why they are seeing so much screen, and you need to understand this. Okay, so
yeah, and the thing is that we need to understand not only for the children but
for
ourselves.
Yeah,
because yes, we don't want it. It was my reality years ago that my kids told me like, you are always in the phone, and when I remember that, it makes me sad that I cannot realize this, because they entered the room in which I was, and the picture of their mother was a human being with a phone in the hand. And it is like, no, we need to understand how we relate as parents or as caregivers with the technology, because the reality it is that all these Facebook and Instagram and Google and Gmail, they have this economy of attention. They rely their profit in your attention. So everything it is set to catch your attention.
In
It
your
is
time.
and your time, and you are spending your time in that. And the other thing is what is creating in our brains is this immediate response speed. See to yourself when you are thinking of something and you want to know the price of the TV that you want to buy, immediately you grab your phone, whatever you were doing. If you were cooking, you grab your phone to see what the price, because we are living in this super speed pace that it is really set by this economy of attention.
So that's why I was saying, like, we are too money drive in this era. Like it's like majority of the things that we do, like the society as they move, the personalities that are becoming, like the examples, the roles are money drive, and there is not spiritual drive, right? Like there is not like that connection. So for example, what the people see is like they see the kids, they see a lot of YouTubers or TikTokers and whatever, and they do the most stupid things that you can imagine just to grab your attention so they can gain profit. So that's the reality. Like, I mean, and there are some creative minds out there that do the same, but at the same time that they really give you value in the content. And so we need to understand this. Like they are not there to nurture your child. They are there to nurture themselves, and they will do the most stupid things just to grab your attention so they can grab money. And that's what the people are learning. Like that's what your children are gaining by having access to your phone. So you want that? You really want that? So that's my question. I don't want that. I like my son. Of course, he has like access to a screen because he has the compañeros, ¿cómo se dice? Classmates in the school, and they will handle the phone to him, and he will search for things. We know that, but at least we are not giving that like as a free source whenever he wants. So what I want to do is like
wait. I want to add something.
Yeah.
That when kids doesn't have this space and time to be in the screen, they develop their creativity, and the creativity that they develop when they are kids, it will bring all the success when they are adults. Really, one of the things that we have as human beings that make us very resourceful in whatever environment we are, it is creativity. So when that creativity and that time for creativity, it is replaced with screen time, you are not allowing your children to develop one of the most amazing things that we have as human beings, that it is creativity. Our kids, they do not have ¿cómo se dice? Como no limitado tiempo. They don't have unlimited time in screen at all since they were little, and they are so creative.
Yeah, and that has a price also.
Yes.
And this
and is bored, and you cannot suppress the boredness with screen. You need
So
to.
what you do?
Yeah, what you do?
So
Being bored, it's
so-
wonderful. That's what I say. It is wonderful. Being bored is amazing. Go and be bored. And 5 minutes after, they are like playing with something and they realize what to do by themselves.
So this is one of the things, like I was saying before, like this is going a step forward, because okay, you don't allow them to have like a screen, okay, but you have to take care of the kid, and that's like the other face of that coin is like
You don't have a virtual nanny.
you need to take care of the kid. So what you do, and we are totally understand that many parents don't have that possibility. For example, my mother, like she was working outside of the house, and this day many people is still working inside the house. So what you do with the kid that is always pushing for attention, and so what you do, like, and I don't really have an answer for that, like because I know that you need to work. But I'm completely sure that you are not doing like doing a favor to your kid if you are just putting screen time. You are doing a disastrous thing for the future. So or either way, you give that time as you are doing maybe now, but you need to compensate that with time with them. Like kids, the most important thing that they need is attention from you. And many of these dramas that we are living today is because the kids doesn't receive the proper attention. So then they develop a phobia of the mother and the father because they never get the attention that they need. So it's like all consequences. It's really hard, and that's why we start saying like that we need to understand what is the responsibility before we go in. Right now, these days, like to be pregnant or not be pregnant, like by chance, is not so much a deal like it was before. Like today, we really have good ways to deal with that, right? So okay, so I want to explain.
Wait. One thing. Sorry.
It's second time that I want to say this.
But it's something that I don't want to miss. The thing is that, okay, it is obviously if you're working in your house and the kid is in there and you are, okay, giving them the screen, and you have this pattern, this habit, you cannot like from tomorrow, okay, no screen at all. But what you can do, it is to set a time for screen. And the other thing is that you need to be aware of the content that the kid is seeing, because that it can be the more rewarding thing if they can be looking like very uplifting and good content, but it can be like a disastrous thing if they are doing and seeing like very inappropriate content. And I am not only referring as sexual content or war content, violence content. It is other things too. Are we allowing our kids to see when they are very little these YouTubers that they, or these pop stars that they are not sharing like very uplifting values?
Okay, so I want to speak briefly, and I think that after this we are going to open questions, but I want to speak briefly to you about dopamine, because this is like the very need of the and a very profound and deep information about why we are having this issue, and maybe ourselves we are having like this kind of addictive behavior to screen in general, right? So I want to read it. I have a note here. Okay, so dopamine is a neuromodulator that what it does is that it manages the communications of many neurons. And it's different from a neurotransmitter that what it does is that it's managed the communication between a few neurons, but instead dopamine is like manage the communication between many. So when you experience dopamine, you do it in a vast way. Okay, so dopamine is this molecule that works with your neurons. Okay, and basically what does is that it gives you satisfaction. It gives you the drive to do things. So when you need satisfaction, you do certain things. Like some people eat chocolate. Some people eat like ice cream, like sugar in general. Some people smoke. Some people like do different things. So all these things, like all these like things that you can eat and exercise or habits that you have, all those are having measure of how much dopamine it gives to you. So how much satisfaction it gives you. So basically dopamine is like these things that give you satisfaction, okay, in the brain and makes you feel good. So the pursuit of emotion guide us, all our society right now, to pursue satisfaction, right? And that is just dopamine. That's what it is. That is what I say. I love this because this is going to the molecule of what is happening in your brain about this whole situation. Okay, so society is driving for satisfaction. So in the pretty neat thing, that is dopamine in your brain. Okay. So there are many things that give you dopamine, like and almost or maybe all of the things that give you satisfaction create these communications in the neurons that drop this information and gives you like I feel so satisfied. So when you have sex, of course, you are going to experiment like a big time satisfaction. So what we need to understand about dopamine, and I'm going to share with you a link that I really recommend everyone sees about, it's a complete 2 hours description of all the aspects of dopamine. Is the best information that is out there that I have found about dopamine. But the thing is like you have like a baseline of dopamine, like, and that is what defines how drive you are in your life, like how motivated you are for waking up in the morning, get out of bed, do your work, take care of your kids. That's the baseline. So if you feel like you are not so drive in your life and you feel like you are experiencing a time where you don't have too much will to do things, then dopamine, the baseline should be very low. And if you feel like some peaks of dopamine, that means that you are doing that, like peaks of dopamine, okay? And by different things, normally things from the outside that you put inside.
Eating a pizza.
Eating a pizza. Like just the thought of eating a pizza can raise your dopamine.
Get you in a good mood.
Yeah. Like, who doesn't? Okay, so the thing is like so we have the baseline, right? And I want to read another term here. Okay, so we have the baseline, that's fixed, right? But then we have like these peaks. So let's say you eat chocolate, okay? You eat chocolate, and that feeling of of feeling good, it's going to create a peak in dopamine, and that's what is going to make you feel good. It's not other things, it's just that. And that peak, it's going to produce that your baseline drops. It doesn't stay on the same level that it was before. So you have a peak, then your base drops. So measure the stimulation and the peak, lower is the baseline that you are going to have. That's why people who do drugs experiment like so high peaks, but then they are so depressed because the baseline goes very down, because as high the peaks is, then as low the baseline is going to go. So we need to understand that dopamine is not something that we have like by infinite number. It's like something that the brain takes time to develop. It's like let's say a liquid or something like that. So you have your quote, and if you use it all, you are not going to have. So there is this example on this video that I think is very good. Like let's say you are running for a marathon, right? And you are, you know, your baseline can change. Your baseline can go down like the normal, or can be up. So if you are training for a marathon, your baseline probably is going to be a little bit higher of the normal that you normally have, and you are going to feel dry majority of the time. And let's say you run the marathon and you win the marathon, okay? And you win it. So then you are going to experience like a huge peak of dopamine. So what happened after the marathon is that you are going to feel totally depressed, because you are not going to have that dopamine available for you. And this is so important to understand, because again, in this satisfaction driven pursuit that we have, we are losing the fact that we cannot feel good all the time. It's just that you are going to feel shitty sometimes, and that's okay. And you need to embrace that, and that's part of the game. So let's sorry, let's give this the perspective of the phones. So what happened right now? It's like the people is and the kids are not feeling good for any reason. Let's say they are not feeling good.
Pandemia.
No, but something like a more like a punctual, like a
Okay.
no, not so general, because that can keep you depressed for many times. Not that kind of. But they feel bad. Maybe you scream to them, or you make a mistake with them, and they will feel bad. So what they do, if they have like the option to have this, is that they feel bad and they take out the phone. It was the same, like people who smoke, it's because they feel bad. It's because they need a hit on the dopamine. They need to feel good. But as longer that you smoke, less dopamine is going to hit. So you need to smoke more. It's the same with drugs. Like the first time is going to feel amazing, but the second time, maybe too, but the third time is not going to feel so amazing, because you are not going to get at the topic. So you need to do more drugs and harder drugs, right? So with the kids, the thing is like they are so driven by social media, because the satisfaction depends on the reaction of others on social media. So even us, I love when people like love my garden pictures that you can see on Instagram, you can follow. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I don't post so much. But the thing is, like, I love when people do that. But the difference between me and the kids is that I'm not dependent. My satisfaction doesn't depend on that. But for kids, it does.
And your self-esteem.
And your self-esteem.
That's another big thing with kids.
Okay, so to complete this, like the whole round thing. So by allowing them to have the phone, what you are doing is that basically you are creating like a totally worthless human being in the aspect that they will not be able to manage their emotions. Like exactly the thing that you were trying to do, manage the emotion, is the thing that is not going to happen to him, because what we want to give to them is the technology or the knowledge that they can manage themselves. So when you are not there and they are under challenge, they know what to do. And you are completely not given that. You are completely given the other thing. So imagine all the repercussions that it has. Like the most important thing is like if they feel bad, they will grab the phone because they need to feel satisfied. So what we are creating is a irreality, like a non-reality of you feel bad, you feel good. You feel bad, you feel good. And as bad they feel, like more stimulus they will need and they will try to get. So it can start just by social media, but then it can go to video games, and then can go to pornography, and then can go to harm themselves, because they create like another things. It has many aspects, but that's what I want to share with you. Like you need to understand these things, and you need to understand not just for your kids, but you need to understand for yourself.
Yes, the thing is that, for example, we have now a little group of people that we are in this dopamine fast group, and we are all adults people, and we are sharing that it is very hard to not be with the screens, because our brains, like Rising said, it is get accustomed to this. Okay, I am feeling a little low, and I will take my screen, and I will do social media, and I will look in Amazon what I can buy, because all this, it's like, oh, sparkles in the mind.
Satisfaction.
But then we need to continue to live in the reality, and this metaverse, it is like the worst thing that can happen to us as humanity, because what the screen does, it doesn't allows you to handle yourself, handle your frustration, get your brain creativities to solve your problems, and be aware of what it is to live in the real world, because you are living in this parallel world that it is the like social media, the screen world, the movies, etc.
Yeah, like to finish, just you need to understand the era that we are living in. We are living in an era that men, because they have so much phobia to a woman, they are really creating robots to be their couples and to have a relationship with them. That's next to happen. Like they have the prototype of that. It was already released. So we are in an era that we are so some of the human beings that are on earth right now, they are so chaotic on their minds that they are creating. We are at that level, and we need to understand what is our part of on this, and what we can do to with our children to help them go through that, because we are not going to face that. They are. It's not what we need to face. We need to face with other things. So we need to prepare them.
So I want to
Question?
yes, but before I have a point that I forget to share in the first part of the class, and it is about punishment and threats as a
Tool.
tool to get our kids like in alignment with what are the values and what we need to them to do. So the like in these teachings, the thing that we need to get them, it is consequences. So if they ruin the neighbor's garden, we cannot let like say to them, okay, you are not going to have dessert today, or you are not going to the party today, because that it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't relate it.
Yes, because remember that we need to let them know about the law of nature, that it is the law of karma. So if they ruin the garden's neighbor, you understand what I say? We need to let them know that they need to go to apologize and to rearrange the garden that they ruin. So it is not easy at all to don't punish, to don't, how you say, ¿cómo se dice?
Punishment?
No. Hit, is that how you say when you hit someone? That was a tool that generations before do and use to
control, to discipline.
Yes, to make them like learn things, but you cannot punish, but you can do consequences. That's the thing, because in that way they can realize that the law of nature is the law of karma. And that requires a lot of thinking on your part, because sometimes they do things and you think to yourself, what can be the consequence of this action? So I don't want to miss that, because it is a very important part. It really like makes the difference. For example, families around us, they ask us, like, your kids said that you do not punish them, how you do things. And we said, okay, we do consequence, and it is not easy because you need to think a lot about it, but it is something very.
Yeah, but the one thing like we have found, like personally, is like normally the realm of mistakes from the kids around 10 things, like lying, like speaking badly, or
Respect
or self-control. Like there are no so many. The range is not so big. So what you can do is like you can add consequence depending on what they are doing. So if they lie, the consequence is always the same. It's like related with what they have lied. So for example, or daughter who not really lies, but she do something wrong, then the consequence is that she needs to speak with the grandfather and tell him that she spent the money on candy, and that's the consequence. It's like facing the challenge and going through that. So imagine, do you think like she's going to do it again? Maybe yes, but probably not, right? Because she doesn't want to deal with the consequence. It's just that we want to give them the whole circle of what you do something, then you need to deal with it. And in that way, they become more intuitive and more intelligent about the things that they do. Okay, I'm going to do this, maybe not, because the consequence is going to be this, and they understand because you give the experience. Instead of like trying to cover, which is completely like
they are not learning anything.
A plan for disaster. Okay, so questions in the chat.
We love questions. Please give us questions.
Maybe we don't, but we are going to wait a few minutes if someone wants to write. But we love to share these things. We understand that it's not easy. And as I start, like we understand that this is taking things like to another level from what they are already, that is already difficult, and it requires a lot of commitment, and but it is what it is. It's like if you want to raise child in the way that we do in Sikh Dharma and Kundalini Yoga, this is what it takes. It's like you need to take the time, and probably it's going to take more time than what you think, and you need to be like in peace with that. Okay, so the first question is, any kriyas that you recommend for parents or caregivers?
I love that question
Um,
because we have the answer for that. And we are going to experience that right now. Yes, well, kriyas like yoga, you can, whatever yoga or kriya series that takes care of your nervous system, it's going to be like a very, very good support in your development. Okay.
yeah, normally we don't do like a daily yoga, but that's something like we really understand that we need, and we will be much better if we do. We do like a meditation, like for like years we have been meditating, and right now we are meditating all the family with the kids. And but definitely if you can do yoga, this is like our goal, like to be able to do yoga all
Daily.
daily, and that's definitely like the best feeling for you. And I don't think like it's like one kind of kriya, like it depends how you are feeling, like just do whatever kriya you can do. Sometimes you can do long kriyas or very extensive, but sometimes you can do just one
With
that
three
has
exercise,
three,
yes.
4 exercise. That's good. Like as long as you do, it's the best. That's my experience. Is there anything special for teenagers that you will highlight?
We are with a
Any
teenage.
any practice that you would recommend with teenagers, how to encourage them, motivate them? Well, the thing is like with teenagers is that you need to give the experience of them, of themselves, to go through challenges. So if they live with the mobile phone, then what is going to happen is that they are not going to be dry. That's period. Like that's going to happen. I mean, in the cases where they spend all of the time on the mobile phone. So I know it's really difficult because you need to grab them and making something like them. So probably that's going to be a big fight if someone has a teenager who has access to a phone and take that from them. It's going to be huge. But normally what I have experienced is that fight with kids, like when you need to put like a real determination changes, just it's like 2 weeks or maybe 1 week, but no more than that. So basically what happens is that you take out the phone, and that's going to last for 2 weeks, like the high peak of destruction level event, and then it's going to go down and down, and they will start getting it. So we need to remember that teenagers are like very, very, there is a lot of plasticity on their brains and their bodies. So they are equipped with the tools that they need to go through this kind of stuff. But it requires a lot of constance from your part to do that. So you take out the mobile phone, maybe you give it from 1 hour.
Yeah.
You pass from having totally access to it to just 1 hour a day, and the rest of the day you practice a sport with them, like whatever is available for you, and that's going to take you a lot of energy from you. But the message that I want to transmit is that that's just going to be 2 weeks, and then you need to continue like to maintain that regimen, and that's how you go out. Very difficult, but not impossible.
And the other thing is that when you make these changes, you need to give you and the teenage the support that will allow you in energy and in your mind to go through this like transformative change. For example, if you take out the screens, and if they were like 4 hours a day in the screen, and now you allow only 1 hour in the screen, maybe you can see this. There are documentaries about the social media or what is happening with when you are involved with the screen, so you can have this time together, so you and the children can learn about this, and you can talk about it. So it is like what we said in the beginning, you cannot be the tyrant, and the kid or the children or the teenage cannot be the tyrant either. And the other thing that is very important for teenagers is that they have a very healthy environment in which they can relate to their companions. So, for example, if they can do ¿cómo se dice? Un deporte como de grupo.
Group sport,
Like a group
basketball,
or soccer or whatever, that will bring them the ability to communicate with others, with sports. They will raise their energy, and they will have like this healthy environment around them. So that's another thing that I believe it's very important with teenagers. And teenagers are not easy to be with, because they have this already. They understand that they are their own, and they have this belief that they know everything and they know how can do things. But the reality is that they need to learn a lot. We as adults continue learning a lot every day. So, but you need to do it with grace. It is difficult, not easy.
And it's not like you are going to do it at that stage, it's that you need help. Like, you cannot preach them at that age. Like, it's not going to work. Like, you need to put them in the environments that are going to be healthy for them. That's the solution, right? You cannot preach them at that age. It's not going to work. Like, no.
And
right? They need other models. Yeah, they already have you for 7 years, and in the eighth, they start looking outside. Yeah.
And the other thing is that you need to create time and space so you can relate to your teenage like in a like very relaxed and like happy environment to be with them. So you need to continue with the limits, because they need to respect you, and they are things that they are not allowed to do, but you need to honor that state in which they are as a teenagers. Like, they are looking for new things, and they are experimenting new things, and they are developing in their bodies. So you can have a very great time with them if you allow you to make time and space to connect with them, like in a very like relaxed way. For example, yesterday I was speaking my Guru Singh, she's 13, to the basketball training. I never do this, but I take the basketball ball and I try to do in the like to make to play. Yes. And we were having a very rough week, a very challenging week between the two of us, but making that time, it was very relaxing for both. So that's...
Yeah, you are going to teach the meditation?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to...
So, a very like immediate way to change your energy and to teach to your kids is to do breathing techniques. And this is one that you can do it in any time, any place. I do it many times in the car while I am driving, trying not to unfocus myself of the driving part, but it is very good to when you are walking, for example, or when you are cooking, or even when you are like looking something in the screen, you can do this breathing technique, this pranayam. It is very simple. You will be doing the inhalation in 5 seconds. You are going to have the breath inside you for 5 seconds, and you will be exhaling the air in 5 seconds. So we are going to do this. We are going to tune in. Inhale deeply to chant, to tune with the Adi mantra. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale deeply. Exhale. So we are going to close our eyes. We are going to be with our spine straight. And we are going to begin inhaling deeply through our nose in 5 seconds. We are going to hold the breath in for 5 seconds. And we are going to exhale the air in 5 seconds. And we are going to continue inhaling in 5 seconds. You can count in your mind. Hold the breath in for 5 seconds. Exhale in 5 seconds. Immediately inhale in 5 seconds. Hold the breath for 5 seconds. Exhale in 5 seconds. Immediately inhale in 5 seconds. Hold the breath. Exhale in 5. And continue. Focus on your breath. Inhale deeply. Hold the breath in. Calm your mind. And exhale. So this is a very good technique when you are like with a mind that it is racing like in a very, very high speed and you need to get calm. You can do this if you are feeling very anxious. You can do this breathing technique 5 times in the day for 5 times every time. So you can do it in the morning for 5 minutes. You can do it in the middle of the morning for 5 minutes. So it is the number of this meditation is 5. You are going to inhale in 5 seconds. You are going to hold the breath in for 5 seconds, and you are going to exhale in 5 seconds. And you are going to do this for 5 minutes. So it is a very, like, it will not take a lot of time, and the effect and benefits are like immediate. What I love to do, it is that when I am waking up, before I open my eyes, I imprint my day with this breathing technique. So I am with my eyes closed and I do this breathing technique, this pranayam for 5 minutes, and then I wake up. And it takes away a lot of anxiety, like anxiety, that's, yes? Anxiety, I'm sorry.
Anxiety.
And it will bring you like a new breath in your day. You will feel excited and inspired to live the day, because this breathing technique, it's very calming, and at the same time it brings you a lot of vitality, like all pranayams. So this is one of the techniques that you can do. And another question was how we can encourage the kids or teenage to meditate. And it's a very good question. Think of yourself, sometimes you don't like to go and meditate, you are like feeling whatever and you don't want to meditate, but you do it anyway. So it is the same thing. What we do, and this is a thing that it relates to the punishment topic that we were talking about, because I forgot to say that we do not reward them either. So we don't do punishment and we don't do rewards. So if they do what you want because it is the correct thing to do, you cannot like, okay, I will give you a candy if you do this. We don't do that. We don't do the reward thing. But in this case with meditation, what we do is that we set the period time of 40 days. So we encourage them to do one meditation for 40 days. And after, when they accomplish these 40 days of the meditation, we do a celebration. Okay, so it is not like, okay, I will buy you a cell phone or you will be able to whatever, but it is to honor them, and it is to like to make a celebration of accomplishing something. Like we celebrate a lot of things. That's another thing to do a lot in family. Family time, it relates to celebrations too. So we need to honor celebrations. We need to do celebrations in the seasons. We need to celebrate the birthdays. We need to celebrate Guru Ramdas' birthday, for example. And when you pass the time of the year making these important celebrations as a family and as a community, it starts to really deepens your experience with nature, with the gurus, with our path, and with, in the case of celebrating the 40 days of their own meditation, we are honoring them in their own process of learning.